The total world of a movie story, the events, characters, objects, settings, and sounds that form the world in which the story occurs, is called its diegesis. The elements that make up that diegesis are called diegetic elements. Every setting, every element of the mise-en-scène, every character, everything a character says, even everything a character thinks is indeed part of the diegesis and therefore diegetic. But there are still plenty of significant elements that we see and hear during a movie that, informative and evocative as they may be, come from outside the world of the story. These elements are called, appropriately enough, non-diegetic elements. Non-diegetic elements include text, the kind used in credits and titles, and sometimes superimposed right over the picture, like this. Voiceover from a third-person narrator, in other words, a narrator that is not a character in the story, sort of like you're hearing right now. And of course, score music. Any music, really, that isn't sourced within the world of the story. For example, let's take an even closer look at the opening of The Big Charade.
Okay, movie.
Movie.
Movie, 4 words, second word.
One word out,
One syllable. It sounds like here. That still sounds like here.
Okay, now everything we're looking at is part of the diegesis. But what about the sounds we're hearing? We don't see where they're coming from. They may be coming from the next room, although the way they're mixed, they may even be in this character's head. Doesn't matter. Whether they're coming from off-screen or inside this guy's fevered imagination, they are part of the world of the story and are thus diegetic. Moving on.
Here. Fourth word. Okay. Time. Watch.
Okay, watch. A long time. Loose time.
Stretchy loose time.
This summer.
Here and forever.
Infinity.
From here to eternity.
Forget everything you thought you knew about charades.
Now things are really happening. The movie revealed that the sounds were off-screen sounds, which are diegetic. And we've got a couple of non-diegetic elements. Non-diegetic voiceover.
Forget everything you thought you knew about charades.
The dramatic, deep-throated kind we associate with movie trailers. And score music. That does affect our experience and interpretation of the narrative, but is not part of the world of the story. Now, watch this.
Somebody told me the French made it up hundreds of years ago. But I always thought my dad invented it just for me.
This voiceover is first person. It is sourced in our protagonist, and he is part of the world of the story, diegetic. It doesn't matter that we're watching him as a child, but hearing from him as an adult. The story character is the source, and that makes it diegetic. But again, the score music in the background that makes the sad story that much sadder is non-diegetic. It may comment on the action or enhance our interpretation of the situation, but it comes from outside the world of the story. Sometimes it does get a little tricky to recognize what's diegetic and what's not, but it makes for interesting analysis that can help us understand how movies function. And even though the terms make it sound that way, diegetic and non-diegetic elements are not in conflict. They work together to do what movies do: tell stories, convey meaning, and elicit emotional responses.